Hello and welcome to The Hindu. I'm Shobana Chatterjee. With me is my colleague Shiv Sahai Singh. It has been an eventful couple of weeks in the West Bengal election campaigning. From on-ground protests to gheraw of judicial officers, we have seen a lot unfold across the state. With just a couple of weeks left for the elections to unfold, we will discuss the key issues that are shaping the elections this time. So, my first question to you, Shiv, would be today morning we got to know that almost 45% of the people who were put under adjudication, which is 60 lakhs, among them about 27 lakhs voters have been deleted or are being called ineligible to be in the final voter list.
Right.
How do you think this will impact the upcoming elections?
So now we have some clarity as to what the voter list in West Bengal will look like. When the SIR was started, the number of electors was about 7.66
Yeah.
crore. Now, in the first phase, we've seen 63 lakh deletions.
Yeah.
Now, another 27 from the 60 lakh would be adjudicated. So, we have we are witnessing something about 90 lakh
lakhs.
deletions.
Yeah.
In terms of the absolute percentage, it is about 12%.
And it's a huge number.
It is a huge number. And if we compare it with, what the elector list in the previous elections, we had about 7.60 crore people voting in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. In the 2021, we had 7.34 crore people voting. So we are essentially at a situation where the number of electors have gone 7 or 8 years down. So about 6.80 lakh voters will vote in this election. So that is very crucial. We are having a 12% drop in the number of electors. So
even though population has increased.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though population has increased, even though new voters have registered, but at the end we have some clarity as to what the number of voters will be there.
Yeah.
Now that the Supreme Court has said that there will be no extension of freezing the electoral rolls, we can roughly assume that when the state goes to polls on April 23 and 29, about 6.80 crore electors will decide as to which party or combination comes to power.
Yeah. So from that, we have seen that tribunals have been set up. 19 appellant tribunals have been set up. But since the voter roll is getting frozen, how will this fare? Even if the voters file an appeal who have been deleted, they are likely not to get included in the next polls.
So there is very little chance that people who are approaching tribunals and across the state, across the districts, will get an opportunity to vote because the electoral list is being frozen, and the process will continue.
And the numbers are disproportionate. 19
Right.
tribunals to 27 lakh deleted.
Right. So again, we will see a set of cues which we have been seeing since October, but the chances of them making to the voting list is, I think, very negligible.
Very negligible.
So we have to assume that this election is about 6.80 crore voters, and who will decide the fate of candidates on these 294 seats.
Yeah. So, taking cue from what you were just saying, people who have been wrongfully deleted, at least allegedly, we don't know for sure. So, we have seen a lot of sporadic protests across West Bengal, but one of the biggest protests that happened was in Malda, where 7 judicial officers who were conducting the adjudication process were held hostage by locals. This was impromptu or organized show of anger and protest by the locals. How do you think, and it became a political matter with political parties trading charges and
Against each
the
other.
Supreme Court coming into play and calling it an undermining of the court. So how do you think this is playing out?
So essentially, this 27 lakh electors who've been just deleted, they all are mapped electors. So they have mapped their link to the 2002 voter list.
Yeah.
So this gheraw of judicial officers, we'll have to, trace the whole story as to the situation was getting the SIL was getting delayed, and then the Supreme Court decided that judicial officers will be looking at the SIR, this adjudication list.
Process, yeah.
This in turn impacted the functioning of the courts. But there are two issues to it. One is the law and order issue, that suddenly thousands of people gathered in front of a BDO office where there were these 7 judicial officers, including, I think, 3 women. The second is the anger amongst the people. As far as now, we should not, the investigation will take some time, but as far as it seems that it was a kind of a sporadic kind of a protest, and the main accused whom the police or the West Bengal police whom they arrested is also not a big time leader who can organize so many people. So it was a kind of a sporadic protest. Thankfully, it did not spill out of control, and the officers were
and a few people were arrested also.
Were arrested, but thankfully the judicial officers were saved in nick of time, and we were able to avert any big situation. So basically, there is, in parts of West Bengal, there is, if you're not allowed to vote, there is a kind of anger building up. So
especially in an elected democracy, voting is a basic right.
Basic right, and these are the areas where we have seen maximum number of deletions in the adjudication, Malda and Murshidabad. And there are allegations that one particular community is being targeted. So, we are going to elections with a huge chunk of voters who will not be participating. And they feel that they have been failed by the state and the system.
Cut. In the last week, we have seen multiple star candidates filing their nominations. So, in one of the most eventful nominations that happened, we saw the Home Minister coming to accompany Leader of Opposition and a prominent BJP face, Shubhendu Adhikari, to file his nomination from Bhawanipur. There was a huge face-off and a scuffle between the Trinamool and BJP workers. So, what is your opinion on how this is shaping up and this hot seat that Bhawanipur has become? Because both the Leader of Opposition and our sitting Chief Minister, who has won from there for 3 times, are contesting from the same seat.
So Bhawanipur is an interesting contest, and we whether it is a master stroke for the BJP to field Shubhendu Adhikari from that seat or not, we will come to know only after the elections results are out. But there are two issues to that. One is that it hasn't stopped actually Mamata Banerjee from campaigning. She's doing 3-4 rallies a day as she used to do in all the elections. The second is we see that Shubhendu's influence, who used to visit all across the state, has been concentrated in both Nandigram and Bhawanipur. So he's contesting from both the seats. So what the BJP is trying to do is to highlight Bhawanipur more and to repeatedly target the chief minister, so that they can get some advantage out of it. But on the contrary, Shubhendu, who is actually one of the tallest leaders of BJP in West Bengal, has to also concentrate almost all his time and energy on these two seats. He cannot choose to lose Nandigram also. So this is a very interesting situation what has emerged. And we should also not forget that left parties in the Congress and even the Humayun Kabir's party, they have fielded some candidates there. I don't know how many votes will they get, but Bhawanipur is definitely going to be a very crucial electoral contest.
So picking up from that, like when the election campaigns are going on, though Shubhendu is officially contesting from 2 seats, Mamata Banerjee went ahead to say that she is the face of all 294 seats. So how is the campaign shaping up for different parties with just 2 weeks left for the polls?
So we all know that in the Trinamool Congress, the heart and the soul of Trinamool Congress is Mamata Banerjee. Now, this is not the first time she's said that she's contesting from all seats. in 2016 assembly polls, when the Trinamool was under a lot of criticism, when the Narada tapes were out, she had given tickets to some of the people who were seen on those tapes, and then she had made a similar statement that she is the candidate on 294 seats. Now, this is essentially to tell the electorate that you should not, if there are any differences in the party, if you do not like the candidate, you should not shy away from voting to Trinamool. So this has been her strategy all along, and she's when she's going to districts like Malda, Murshidabad, and even other parts of the state, she's referring to her as the candidate on 294 seats.
Yeah, something in these lines I heard when I was in ground reporting in Jhargram. The candidate from Jhargram town was saying that our faces, our pictures should also not be there. Individual candidates' faces should also not be there in the election campaign, and he was of the opinion that all of the candidates' faces should be replaced with Mamata Banerjee's faces. So that is something the party is pushing.
Exactly. But you can put the party chairperson face on the Trinamool flag also. But in electoral, in electoral democracy, you have individual candidates contesting, filing nominations, declaring assets. So that thing cannot be
dominated.
Cannot be discounted. And we've seen how careful both the BJP and the Trinamool were in deciding their candidates. So the Trinamool dropped about 74 odd candidates and all that. So that is something very, very important. Even on the BJP's front, the BJP, those Shubhendu is contesting from 2 seats, the BJP is saying that we are contesting these elections on the development agenda of Narendra Modi, and we do not have a chief minister's face or something. So I think both the parties are trying to put faith in their top leadership.
Yeah. So there are some key constituencies that are playing a major role in the upcoming elections, like Bhawanipur, Nandigram, Panihati, and Baharampur, to talk about a few. So how can you tell us a little bit about how this is shaping?
Yes, so we start from Baharampur. Now, Baharampur is a very interesting contest. It is a prestige battle for Congress, and particularly individually for Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, who has been a 5-time MP, lost to Yusuf Pathan in 2024, decided to contest an assembly polls
after 30 years,
and he has a considerable influence in that region. So that is a very interesting constituency. Panihati, we all know that the mother of Abhaya has been fielded by the BJP, and so far we have seen that wherever she's going campaigning, particularly the women are coming out and greeting her.
Emotional outpouring.
Yes, there has been some emotional outpouring. Nandigram and Bhawanipur, Nandigram was very important last elections, but this time the Trinamool has managed to field someone who is very close to Shubhendu at the last moment. So that is also important. So these constituencies are important. The constituencies in south of Kolkata where senior ministers are contesting, that they are important. But ultimately the outcome will be decided on all the 294 seats. So who is able to pass this majority of 148 or 150 seats? Yes.
Since the manifestos of most parties are out, though Congress will release theirs today and BJP is yet to release, but promises are being made and elections are being fought on something. So can you tell us what the promises are that these top parties are making for the upcoming elections?
So if you listen to the, what is being said, in the speeches and all that, for the Trinamool, it is very clear their primary agenda is that vote for us or else the BJP will come to power. Vote for us, do not vote for BJP because the BJP has deleted names of electors from West Bengal. Vote for Trinamool because BJP is an outsider party and BJP doesn't understand the culture of West Bengal. It is alien to the food habits of West Bengal. That is why there is so much thing about fish, and if the BJP comes to power, BJP will not let you have non-vegetarian food. So these are the campaigns which the Trinamool is building on. It is all a kind of a negative campaign. What I am really, kind of surprised is that the Trinamool manifesto lacks on the promise of future.
It's
The
mostly sentimental.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
Trinamool is not even saying that, after 15 years in power, that we will give you jobs. What they are essentially promising is that we will save you from the BJP. So by default, you should vote for us, because if you do not vote for us, the BJP will
The other
come.
option is BJP. Yeah.
For the BJP, they are highlighting the corruption, and we've
Lack
seen
of jobs.
lack of
Yeah.
jobs. So we've seen the Prime Minister speaking about syndicate Raj, and there are no jobs being there, migration, and all what the anti-incumbency of the Trinamool looks like. The BJP is also adding to this, this whole thing which they have built up in 2021 about, a kind of a demographic danger looming large in certain parts of state, and in, demography being changed and all that, and targeting the Muslims particularly. Last time the Prime Minister referred to Trinamool manifesto being called Istihar. I don't know from where the BJP got this thing. The Trinamool manifesto was called Didi's Dosh Ongekar. It wasn't called Istihar.
10 promises.
So basically they are using anti-incumbency as well as the communal divide.
Yeah.
Now, for the other players, the left Congress and the other smaller, they are saying that, the BJP Trinamool binary has dominated this state's politics for almost a decade now.
Yeah.
So the electors should give our candidates an opportunity, and there should be some fresh, we have
Beyond the binary.
Beyond the binary, we want to speak about other things. We want to speak about jobs. We want to speak about communal harmony. So shun both the BJP
and choose a parallel option.
Choose an option.
Yeah.
So this is how, and this is what is going to continue. For the attacks will get shriller, the campaign will get loud, but this is what is going to dominate till April 2023, I think.
With the protests and political campaigning gaining momentum, and just 2 weeks left for the elections, what should we be looking at in the next couple of weeks leading up to the elections?
So, it's going to be more or less the same thing, only, now that these 27 lakh people have been disenfranchised, so to say. Now, we actually don't know how will they react. Hopefully the elections should be held peacefully and all that. But that will be there will be an underlying tension, throughout the state, because you have genuine voters who are not going to vote in the election.
This is the first time we are seeing something like this.
And for people, these are not dead voters. The 27, these are not the shifted voters. All of them had filled the form. All of them had
documents,
traced themselves to somebody in the 2002 electoral roll. Now, what the commission is saying, that the commission finds their things suspicious, or they haven't been able to provide documents. So this is going to be a very important factor. The second is that, there will be more, rallies of Trinamool.
Based on the deletions.
Yes. And there will be more since the Assam and the
Kerala
elections will be over, and there will be more frequent frequent rallies of the Prime Minister and the Home Minister and all that. So we will have more central leadership coming, and we will have a more loud campaigns. Different issues will come up. Each party will go to election commission and say that this is violation, this remark is violation, that remark is a violation. It is how it is going out to be, basically. We will also see a lot of talk about, regional imbalances and specific communities like minorities, Matuas, North Bengal, South Bengal, Southwest Bengal divide. So these things will also play up, as it has played in the other previous elections.
On that note, we end our discussion today. Thank you for being with us. For more such content, stay tuned to The Hindu.